So my favorite video of a therapeutic session is with Carl Rogers, and he's with a group. It's actually they're doing a documentary on his group work, and he says to the group, "I actually don't know where this is going to go. I'm a little worried it'll fall apart, but this is our group, so we're going to figure this out together. And I'm worried, but in my worry, I'm also excited because great things can happen." And I think that's just a great example of play and how you enter not knowing. It's actually something that uh, requires a certain level of concentration because you don't know where you're going. And I thought maybe today we'd hold on to that philosophy and have our own conversation improvisationally about it. If that's okay with you.
Sounds great.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I love that way of being. Way I feel it's kind of showing
Yes.
up with as much presence as you can, with as much openness, and let as things come, be able to, in a way, play with them, if I can use that word.
Yeah. Yeah. And when you say that, I think about what it means to show up and what it means to show up i- in a really concentrated way. I'm thinking of uh, the hardest jazz to play is free jazz, the one
Mhm.
where it's not easy, it's not actually free. You're under the constraint of what the hell are we going to create here, you know? And so it takes the most showing up and the most concentration of all the forms, you know? And,
Yeah.
and when you think about play, what do you think about when you think about what we mean by play? And
So one of the ways I think of play is spontaneity. And again, as you were saying, for spontaneity, it's not just winging it, actually.
Mhm.
It's being able to be in that space. And if I may use this metaphor from the Tibetan tradition, you know, if you're really connected to that space, you are like light or awareness that through that, in that space, you create rays, right? So when the sun meets the sky, rays manifest, right?
Mm,
And these rays are our ways of manifesting. And usually the way we manifest our activity is through the body, through the speech, and through the mind. And so that's how I think of play in this um, kind of spontaneity.
wow. Yeah. Spontaneity with that deep a purpose to it or that deep a meaning to it. Yeah. And that to me is what happens to children
Mm.
when they're deep in play. They're actually very serious. They're having this experience of the rays. Nothing else is going on for them but that moment. You know, uh, it's not silly necessarily. It's profound. You know.
They're really focused. It's interesting. And also what's interesting is they can be really focused here, and when there's no attention needed here, they're
Hmm.
very easily letting it go and
Yeah.
bring the attention here. And they really are fully here. Like when they come from one toy to another toy, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And so they play with, and with each one, they play, and then maybe they throw it. It's like, okay, I don't need it anymore. And now I'm fully here.
Yeah.
And the experience with each one is very present. And
Yes.
I think that's a little bit of what we would like to recuperate, because part of what's happening, I think, is a lack of attention. We have
Hmm.
so many things going on in our lives that we don't really pay attention. When
Hmm.
we are with someone, we are there in body, but our mind might be in so many places.
Hmm.
We may be looking at our phone. We may be thinking of the next meeting. We may
Hmm.
be. So it's like, can you really be here? Can you
Hmm.
really be fully here? And when you're fully there, the conversations are not scripted, right?
Hmm.
Because you're there heart to heart. And then things manifest in the way they need to manifest. And I
Yes.
think that's, for me, has been the most beautiful encounters. Now, I say the same, for example, to my colleagues who are, you know, clinicians in different ways. As one of my friends would tell me, in every patient's room, there's a meditation device or a focus device, and that's the gel. So when
Yes.
you get the gel, it's not just about washing your hands and maybe singing happy birthday twice if there's no one birthday. It's really about kind of clearing not just your hands, but your mind. So whatever last conversation, good or bad, you clear so you can be fully here now. And as
Yes.
you're fully there now, also you can hear, you can really be there with the person and fully experience through all your senses that experience. And I think we don't do it enough.
Yeah. Yeah. I think I'm listening to you, and what's going on in my head, and you mentioned the word. It's it's a kind of attention with a specific outcome. And the outcome is to be in the moment of encounter. That when you play, you're always playing with something.
Hmm.
So it's a kind of attention about encounter. And everything you just mentioned about the losses and not having that is about losing in the encounter, especially the encounter with other living beings.
Yeah,
This person's alive. This person has a being inside of them that needs to be experienced by me. This animal does. The earth does. All those encounters are, in my mind, the result of play.
yeah,
You're in a playful space when you're able to see the humanity in another.